In this video, I will explain how to work with the new tool, block schemes. We created block schemes for you to program less in JavaScript. We included into block schemes both simple math operations such as comparisons and complicated operations such as regulating. And I'll show you a small case for you to understand how block schemes work. Imagine that your customer has a relay to control warm floors and a sensor of the current temperature. We'll offer the customer to set a required room temperature on the widget, and if it is higher than the current temperature, we'll automatically turn on the relay of the warm floor with the help of block schemes. If the temperature is lower, it will turn off the relay. Block schemes work only in a server project. That's why first we create a server project, and we'll save the set temperature in virtual commands and feedback channels. Click right mouse button on the project name, select Create Server Project. After the server project is created, let's create virtual commands for required temperature. Let's add a command and a feedback channel. Let's rename it for convenience. Now, I want all values that come to the required temperature command to be forwarded to the required temperature feedback channel for a client to see what temperature is set. In the old studio, it was done with the help of scripts. Now, it is enough to drag and drop feedback channel next to the command. Now, everything that comes to the command is forwarded to the feedback channel. Settings here are done. Let's set the interface. I go to the panel project, click on the driver name, synchronize it. Check that the host is entered. Then I open the commands and drag and drop them on the items. First of all, let's set the required temperature. It'll be controlled with the help of up-down buttons. Let's check the settings. The step is -1, the limit is 15, it's alright. The next command, let's check the settings. The step is 1, the limit is 30, it's also quite alright. And let's set the hold value, let it be 3. Next, let's display the value to see the value of the required temperature in the template. Let's set the display of the relay state, if it is turned on or off, and the display of the current temperature. Let's save it and go back to the server project. Now we must set logic. If the required temperature is higher than the current temperature, turn on the warm floor. The tab to open block schemes and looks like a block scheme. Open this tab. Click Add New Scheme. Schemes are called templates in the studio. And we start creating a scheme with the help of drag and drop. If the required temperature is higher than the current temperature, let's select in the library a required command, comparison, x is more than y. Connect the blocks with lines. If a reverse operation is required, that is, if the required temperature is lower than the current temperature, select another comparison, x is less than y. You can read in our wiki what each block does. Select Server, select iRidium Studio 2019, find Tools to create logic, and select Block Schemes. This section describes the work of each scheme. The next thing we must set is to turn off the relay of the warm floor. Drag and drop the commands for the warm floor. Let's hide the panel temporarily. This block works like true and false. If the equation is done, there will be 1 in the output. If the equation is not done, there will be 0 in the output. The relay is controlled with the help of 1 and 0, and this variant suits us, and I link the blocks. If, for example, your equipment is controlled with the help of 100 and 0, you will have to add another block that converts 1 into 100. After the template is set, you must set its run mode. On tag change means that the scheme will work when any of this tag changes its state. The current temperature may change when a value comes from a sensor and the required temperature is changed by a user. The scheme can also work by interval. For example, the scheme can be launched every second if your system does not send data itself. Now let's rename the scheme into bedroom to show how schemes can be cloned in a template. Press clone, and another scheme appears, but there are no inputs or outputs. We can rename it into kitchen, and we can drag and drop here new commands and feedback channels that refer to kitchen. Thus, any template of your logic can be cloned for any number of inputs and outputs. You can create some complicated scheme that you regularly use and copy it for all rooms, for example. What to do next? Next, we check if the server can connect to equipment. I'll enter here the settings of my Modbus emulator. Then I launch the emulator, save the server project, and start the server emulator. I see that the driver is connected. Then I enter the panel project, synchronize it with the server project, save it, and start the emulator. It shows 0 now, as we did not enter any temperature values in Modbus emulator. Let the current temperature be 25 degrees Celsius. You can see it here. Then a customer starts increasing the required temperature, and our customer wants the temperature to be 26, and we see that the relay of the warm floor is turned on, and at once the floor starts heating the room. When a customer wants a lower temperature, the relay is turned off and you can see it. Now let's change the current temperature to a value lower than the required temperature, and we see that the relay of the warm floor is turned on, and at once the floor starts heating the room. As you can see, it took us about 9 minutes to set the logic for turning on and off the warm floor.